give you a 2 minutes. Prabhu, if you want to take a break, that's fine. Water break. You've been singing for last half an hour, so well done, Prabhu. Alec Prabhu, should I make you the co-host and you want to check? Because I don't know, the browser is hanging for some reason.
Ramesh Prabhu, we are live. I sent you the link also.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Because
Hare
I
Krishna.
stopped it and started again. That's the reason. Can you check now? Are you live?
Sure, Prabhu, I'll check. It's live. Let me confirm.
Because on my side it didn't show up. That's why. Okay. You are able to see Alec Prabhu? YouTube is live.
Yes, Prabhu. We are live.
Okay.
The link I
Thank you,
shared.
thank you, thank you, thank you, and welcome all devotees to the ISKCON Columbus Sunday feast. And special thanks to Parikshit and Naveen Krishna Prabhu for that half an hour of kirtan, very ecstatic kirtan. And I have a very short introduction, brief introduction. I know most are regular devotees. I see a couple of new names, so I want to make sure we give a small introduction of today's speaker. Today's speaker is His Grace Naveen Krishna Prabhu, and Naveen Krishna Prabhu is one of our oldest member of our congregation, and generally does not need any introduction. And he's been there with ISKCON Columbus for more than 20 years, and is various capacities, and currently is one of the temple council members and specifically focused on deity worship. And so we are really very lucky today to hear from Naveen Krishna Prabhu. And the topic for today is Sri Prahlad Maharaj teaching to his classmates. And I think we couldn't have got a better topic than last week. We had a huge festival on Tuesday, a very successful festival, Narsim Chaturdasi. So from here, so the plan is the discourse will go on till 12:30. We have some Q&A, probably around 12:15, 12:20. We'll take some few questions, and then we'll end with the local announcements at around 12:30. That's the plan for today. So, Naveen Krishna Prabhu, thank you for your time, and please go ahead. Rex.
Hare Krishna. You all can hear me?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes,
Yeah,
Prabhu.
I'll quickly sing Jai Radha Madhav.
Yes, Prabhu.
Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopijana Vallabha Givaradhari. Jana Vallabha Givaradhari. Yashodanandana 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 Brajanandana Yashodanandana Brajanandana Om Gnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatam Maham Mande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam. Vandehum Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragunatantam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parjana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanitam Cha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandhu Pesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute तप्त कांचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये पंचकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna dear devotees, welcome to Sunday feast, Sunday love feast, members.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, your voice is very low, Naveen Krishna Prabhu, for some reason.
Okay, close to. Thank you. Is it okay now?
Is it better? It is better, but still it is kind of a low. It is better though.
Okay.
Maybe an headset will do, Prabhu. If you keep an headset, maybe that will be better directly.
Is it better now?
Yeah, we are able to hear Prabhu, but it's slightly low. That's the only thing. Ramtit Prabhu is booming. Voice is booming. So
I'm trying to do my best here because that's because I'm also speaking from my notes. I need that one.
okay, no problem. That's fine.
Okay, so let's see if it is going down. Please let me know.
Yeah, sure. Prabhu.
So thank you very much, dear devotees. Welcome to Columbus Sunday Love Feast. If you could please open up your videos, I really appreciate it. I would like to see your faces with the names, if it's possible. That would be great. I see some devotees are there. Not many new people, but pretty everybody familiar. Thank you very much. So we just celebrated Lord Narsinghdev's appearance day, and then most of the time we spoke about Lord Narsinghdev's appearance day. Who is he? Who's Prahlad Maharaj? And then the teachings of Prahlad Maharaj, based on the pastimes. Not much time we hear what Prahlad Maharaj spoke to his friends in the school. That's actually pretty much like a Bhagavad Gita. What Krishna said to Arjuna is like a nutshell Bhagavad Gita. We're going to go a little deeper into that today. What did Prahlad Maharaj shared to his friends? And the friends asked few questions. It's a conversation. So I would like to speak about that today. So after the festival, but I don't have any qualification, nor I can get qualification to talk about Prahlad Maharaj. He's a Mahajan, Bhagavatottama, the best of the Bhagavatas. And then, but however, for my own purification, I try to share what I heard, what I read, what I understood a little bit. So, Prahlad Maharaj, so he was studied in the Chanda and Marka, who is a sons of Sukracharya. He is a spiritual master for the demons. Demon is not a nature, not only nature, it's also dynasty. Like, Daiva and Aditi, Diti. There's a two wives of Kashyapa. Diti means who came from, Diti is actually Daityas. Aditi means which Adityas, which is the demigods. Same father, the Brahmin, come from two different mothers, Aditi and Diti. So it's not like a demons, like they have something protruding something in the air and they have deformed personalities. No, it's a nature. And it's also called dynasty, like a Kuru dynasty, Vrishni dynasty. Like that, there's so many dynasties there. There's also Rakshasa dynasty, that's the name. But since most of the people in that, not all of them, has demoniac quality, that's in demons. But the race itself, there are so many wonderful devotees also came, they were there in this demoniac race. At the same time, there's also demoniac people in the Adityas, in the demigods also, mentality. But in general, most of them are devotees, or the devotion mixed with the karma. Karma, bhakti, mishram. It is there in the demigod side. So now in this Chanda and Amarka, they're teaching based on Hiranyakashipu's instructions, based on dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Who is friend, who is enemy, how to exploit, how to make our self-life happy at the cost of others, even if it doesn't matter. So that's how they were teaching him. Prahlad Maharaj did not hear anything. He was doing his own things. But they seeing Prahlad Maharaj is always happy. He's always peaceful. But his father is not happy. So his father specifically told, excuse me, to teach certain subjects to him, but he did not listen, as I said. So one day, when Chanda and Amarka both went out, and his friends asked him few questions. So he started telling them, preaching to them, sharing to them whatever he learned from his guru. And this is how his teaching goes. He says, my friends, why are you wasting your time? Intelligence should use the human form because it's rarely achieved. It's very temporary, like other bodies, but it's meaningful. It's like a carrier which can carry you as a soul, body as like a vehicle. It can carry you. Especially if you do perform the devotion service, it will take you towards kingdom of the God. It allows you a chance to go home back to Godhead. And then now what we do the devotion service, bhakti. And then now he explained about the soul and super soul. I will not get into a little bit technical details here and there, but the 2 chapters, please bear with me. There is some of them could be repetitive, but this basics is always should be strong. Even though we heard it, we're hearing it again. The basics is very, very important for us because the basics will give us the conviction. The basics are not strong. If you want to go to the superficial knowledge, it will not help us, especially when time of need. In the time of need, since we are in the sadhakas, Jiva Goswami says, advanced devotees survive devotion service based on priti, love for Krishna. But sadhakas who practice devotion service, they survive on the duty bond. I don't have love, but I'm trying to revive the love with my sadhana, the duty bond. That's what Prahlad Maharaj says, like, you have to be duty bound initially. Eventually, the duty will become priti, prema. So in this process, he also said that happiness perceived with reference to the sense objects can be attained in any way and anybody, anyhow. But they are temporary. Happiness, the way it comes, distress also comes. It says when the happiness comes, you enjoy. When it goes, it leaves the distress. When the distress is there, when we suffer, we feel the pain. When that goes away, it brings the happiness. Like, somebody is is in the deathbed, all his relatives surrounding around him, crying, oh, his person is leaving. At the same time, when the soul leaves, it goes and joins somebody's womb, and then the birth happens, and they're celebrating. For the person who has nothing to do with both of them, the people around in both cases also nothing to do with them. They're in the transmigration. So he explained this philosophy so nice. This is nothing but Krishna also explained Bhagavad Gita. That's the reason I said Prahlad Maharaj's teachings in Bhagavatam is pretty much like a nutshell in Bhagavad Gita. And he says like the soul has a fixed duration. And then in duration, most of the time, so first of 24% of the time is called youth, middle age, old age, and finally it's a breathing vegetable. So we'll be like breathing like a vegetable, just somebody come and feed us and which that will be pretty much invalid. So in that we'll be spending a lot of time for education, family life, and also working, sleeping, mating, so many things. So whatever the time we have, very, very limited. That limited time, the intelligent person will make use of that in the service of Krishna. He says that the reason people cannot do is because of uncontrolled mind. He clearly, categorically explained 6 points there. So uncontrolled mind and senses, what does it will do to a human being or a sadhaka? It says it increases the attachment to the material life because of lusty desires, unsatiated lusty desires. It's like a forest fire. And then now it creates an illusion, a strong illusion, which is opposite to devotion service. the uncontrolled senses will create an illusion which takes us away from path of bhakti. And then that reason, we will not get liberation or mukti or vimukti. And then now, during the condition stays, we think money is honey. We do everything, anything, our skills and talents and time and energy, everything we spend, invest to get the money. When the money comes, we try to enjoy. When it goes, we suffer. And the cycle continues. And those who cannot understand this, they're wasting their life, valuable life. And then now, these are the 5 steps which happens because of uncontrolled mind. And then eventually he says that if we control the mind, he also said we cannot control the mind. But if we try to control the mind as a service to Guru and Krishna, then Krishna help us. Because mind is energy of Krishna, who can control? We cannot control. So he help us so that we can, appears to be, we can control the mind. And he also said that Bhakti, anybody, anywhere, anyhow, people can perform. This is very wonderful point. People, even devotees practicing, we have to understand. He says that God is everywhere. He is infallible. He is tireless in giving. Tireless in the sense, Prabhupada purport explained, it's called indefatigable. I didn't even hear that. I had to look for the dictionary. What does it mean? It's called indefatigable. That means it's called tireless. Why is tireless Krishna? Because he is giving a chance after chance after chance after chance. We will be tired to take the chances, but he is not tired in giving the chances to us. He's so magnanimous. So we should not. He is there in inert matter. He's also there in a living matter. Everything comes from him. It's also familiar. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita also. He says, like in most of the religions, even that time he says, depends on economic development and sense gratification. That should be avoided. And he also said that there's 3 ways for salvation: education, self-realization, and ritualistic ceremonies. He also says because of that also can lead eventually. That itself, because why? The people who do ritualistic activities, they accept that there is a God. Before people are atheistic, that means I am God, there is nobody, there is no God, I am God. So from there, they progressively march in such a way, okay, they understand there is a God who can help me. That's a progressive path. That eventually, if the person is sincere, then that selfish become a selfless. That leads to self-realization. This is the path. So this entire he called it education. So that's one of the purpose of religion. And then he further says this can be achieved also through logic, philosophy, and freedom from material contamination. This is very important. He says that in Bhagavad Gita, when he's talking to his friends, through logic we can also come to conclusion. If we are sincere, of course, through philosophical speculation also, if the person is leading with the right under bonafide guru, he can also come to conclusion. Then eventually material contamination will be removed. Then Prahlad Maharaj's friends asked, wait a minute, you've gone in our time, we've been studying together, spending time together. How do you know all these things? Who taught you? Our teacher did not teach us. Then he explained his past life, not past life. He says that when my mother was trying to be captured by Indra, when they're trying to take over his kingdom, because he was trying to take a revenge for his brother's death, he went forest to meditate. In that time, demigods trying to capture her. Narada Muni came and rescued her. He says, no, don't kill her, and don't kill the kid. Inside, he's a pure devotee, and he himself is telling about himself because he's repeating what Narada Muni said. So there is a great devotee inside. So I will take them to my hermitage. I will take care of them. When the time comes, you will see everything. So then he brought them. He started teaching all Srimad Bhagavatam, and he further interestingly said that when my mother was also hearing, but she did not take it very interesting. And she used to sleep, but I listen. That's the reason I remember all those things. So he said, based on this knowledge, then in one direct, in other sense, he become their guru. He says, if you, it's very clearly from here onwards, the devotees pay attention, because he's giving instructions very systematically. It will help us also in our sadhaka stage. Yes. If you can place your faith in my words, he's telling his friends, if you can place your faith in my words, you can also understand the same transcendental knowledge which I received from my guru. I'll repeat. If you have faith in my words, what I received from my guru, which you didn't have an opportunity, but through me, the via media, you can also get the same transcendental knowledge. In other words, even now, after millions of years past, if you connect to Prahlad Maharaj's teaching, we can also get the same benefit from Narada Muni. But what is the point here? The faith. It's just if you have faith. Then he says, like, so everybody take birth, they grow, they transform a different shape of the body, and they produce the byproducts, and they get bindle and they die. He explained the nature of the material body, like Krishna explained in Bhagavad Gita. He also explained about Atma and super soul relationship. He says that an expert geologist who can understand where there is a gold, the same thing, the person who is in the path of bhakti, have eyes open. Sorry. And if you have a consciousness open, look for opportunity, and the sky is the limit, and how Krishna reciprocate with us, and then we can get that knowledge and we can tap that knowledge. Then he explained about 26 elements of Prakriti. 26 of elements of Prakriti. He explained, actually 24, I added 2. Because I would like to spend a couple of minutes. I see a couple of new devotees also. So the reason he explained is that Sankhya Yoga also, if you pay attention, we can systematically can understand through these elements also about the nature of Krishna. As said, the person who has open eyes, he can connect to Krishna in anywhere, anyhow. As I said a couple of minutes before, he established that principle. Now he's explaining about this Prakriti. Like, we have sorry, somebody's trying to call me from India. So there's a grass elements, earth, water, fire, ether. Krishna also says there's a grass elements and the subtle elements. And there's knowledge acquiring elements and the working senses, Jnanendriya, Karmendriyas. I'll just go briefly. So earth, water, fire, and ether, eyes, nose, ear, mouth, skin, and then sense objects, which is sight, seeing, smelling, sound, taste, touch, hands, legs, tongue, rectum, and genitals. With this, they have a mind, intelligence, false ego, and unmanifested, which is Pradhana, manifested, which is Mahatattva, and the soul and super soul is also there, and all this Jiva and Paramatma. He explained, out of all these things, the time, Krishna is the time. With the combination of this, he creates this material world. So how do we understand this? If you pay attention, for looking Krishna, the eyes, hearing about, we hear about, Srimad Bhagavatam we're hearing right now here. I hope we are hearing. Yes, tasting prasad. So they are not just a grass elements, but these elements, the sense objects, if we use in such a way that we can connect to Krishna. Most of the time, like, when we chant, we hear about Krishna and read about Krishna. What about the rest of the time? Sadhaka stage, we see Krishna only in the deity in the temple. Is he not everywhere else? How can we see? He's trying to give, he's broadening their sense, eyes in such a way that how do we connect now, wherever you are, however you are, you can connect. Krishna says, like, I am the taste of the water. How many of us remember Krishna when you're drinking water? We call is a devotee. How many of us remembering, looking at the nature is a Prakriti, I can connect to Krishna? Srimad Bhagavatam is saying that, like, 24 hours remembering Krishna, what does it mean? Not literally saying Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. That's one, there's no doubt about it, that's correct. At the same time, it can be mechanical also. Prabhupada also said you can chant rest of your life, you may never connect to Krishna. Because why? There's a sankalpa, that's intuition. The why are you trying to do? The key is the faith. How many times we heard holy name is not different than Krishna, but how many times we realize that? These are basic teachings Prahlad Maharaj is trying to teach us. How he also, I just wanted to jump into one minute to the Tattva Sandarbha, where Jiva Goswami explained the same thing. These 26 elements, even though it's a Prakriti, it's energy of Krishna. We are also his energy, but we are superior energy. This is the material energy or inferior energy. So it's very interesting. It's very interesting. Explain how this cosmic manifestation expands from subtle to gross. Please bear with me. I'll just go in a sequence. Some of you already know that, but I'll just say one more time. So it started with the sound, unmanifested, which is pradhana, the Krishna's glance, and the time, 3 modes of material nature. It churns. It churns, then become a manifested, which is a Mahatattva. When Mahatattva manifests, it becomes a first is sound. It's called Omkar. So it is a what is that? Impersonal aspect of God. Just only sound. That's how the creation, material creation started. When the sound created, what happens? How do we know we have sound created? Unless we have a hearing capacity. The sense and sense objects created automatically. When the coin is created, it has both sides. You cannot create one. So like that, anything gross created, subtle is created. Sense created, sense object created. So when sound is created, he creates the hearing capacity. And then from the combination of these two, it becomes a gross, which is a ear, the physical ear. And then from this previous sound, hearing capacity, ear, it leads to touch. And then now touch with the previous aspects, systematically explained by Jiva Goswami there, into air. That is still subtle. From the air, how do you feel air? You can only feel, touch. We need an ability to feel the air is skin. So skin created. From there, form created. From the form, previous objects mixed together, it gives the fire. And previous objects with the fire, then how can you see it? Through eyes. So eyes was created. Through that, taste, water, tongue, smell, nose, and finally is the grossest of all grosses is the earth. But now can you say, how is birth in the mother's womb? And then now gross body sees. The power is already there. Based on the previous karma, seeing power, smelling power, touching power, digestion capacity, how much you speak, whether he speaks or not, 1 leg, 2 legs, based on the karma and sukruti is already created in the past. But it is unmanifested. The way unmanifested pradhana manifested into Mahatattva, we also have creation happens every minute. There's many kinds of creations. Is once its creation, it happens. As we see the child grow from 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, some of them manifest. They may not have a seeing power, hearing power, but it develops. What was there? It was there before, but dormant stage. So that's how even Srimad Bhagavatam Kapil Dev explains this to Devahuti. Through Sankhya, also, how do you connect to Krishna? You can appreciate the creative nature, impetus. There's the 10 aspects of Bhagavatam. Even like when you're trying to make sabji, I'm just giving you a gross example. You get the vegetables, you wash with the water, then you put in a pot, cut the vegetables, under the fire, you cook it. Before that, you don't see much. Then eventually, vegetable which is uncooked, there is no smell yet. But when you add in the spices, then eventually the process, it churns, you add the masala, you add the spices, you cook in a different sequence. Eventually, it manifests into what you call the sabji. What was there before? The sabji was in the unmanifested stage there. It is there, but we cannot see it. But there has to go through a process. The same process, if we apply, analytically understanding our own nature, then we can appreciate Krishna. We can appreciate Prakriti. We can appreciate entire thing around us. There is a reason for everything. That reason is Krishna. But how do I understand unless I don't use my reasoning to understand the who's have no reason? I hope I'm not confusing you. There is a reason for everything. Who has no reason? Who created the reason? I'm part of the reason. There is a reason why I'm talking to you or listening. It could be somebody else. But if you analytically understand what is that to me, what did Krishna is trying to teach me through this today? This person, this incident, this lecture. There is a reason for everything. So Sankhya, analytically also you can connect. There is a reason why Krishna is trying to teach me. So what is in it for me? How can I learn? How can I apply? That's what Jiva Goswami spoke. That's what the Kapila Muni spoke. That's what exactly Bhagavatam Prahlad Maharaj talking to his teacher. What is the key? Is a faith. Like, we hear, how many of us say, Bhumi Rapo Nalo Vaya Kam Mane Budrevacha? When we're hearing taste, when you're drinking Krishna. But am I feeling Krishna? But the chance is there, possibility is there. Pain, pleasure, association, whatever it may be. That's where, Krishna, Prabhupada, international Krishna consciousness, not a God consciousness, a Lord consciousness. How do we conscious? How do we bring the consciousness? Then Jiva Goswami explained there's a fight of a consciousness. Consciousness is there, but it will not manifest. First is Avrita Chetana, which is covered consciousness, where you find in the trees, plants, creepers, and mountains. Consciousness is there, it's covered. It's called Avrita Chetana. Next is Sankuchita Chetana, which is contracted or shrunken consciousness, which is in aquatics, the birds and bees. Is consciousness from creeper to the bird is developed. Next, Mukulita Chetana, which is budding consciousness. That means in the human beings, it's the seed was planted. Consciousnesses started manifesting from unmanifested states. When that happens, it also accumulates all the senses, sense objects, seeing power, touching power, smelling power, based on the karma, and as well as our sukruti, it start manifesting. Because all those facilities was providing to us by Krishna. Hey, use them. You in the creeper, you didn't have the facility. Now, when you become aquatic, a bird or beast, you still did not have them. You have it, but you cannot use them. Now, it is Mukulita. It's like, budding. Opportunity is given. After many Bahunam Janmanamante Gnanavan Mam Prapadante Vasudeva Samati Samatma Sudariva. After many, many lifetimes. Now, we are growing, consciousness growing, and then to facilitate the consciousness to grow, the facility is given. Next is Vikasita Chetana. Vikasita, that means blossoming. That only happens in human beings. And then now one Purna Vikasita Chetana, that means complete blossom, complete consciousness available. And this consciousness, Prahlad Maharaj explains, is only possible in human race. That's the reason he says, don't waste your time. He systematically, categorically explains, if you live for 100 years, so many years is gone for sleeping, so many years for mating, so many for this and that. So it says average, so 12 years out of 100 years, that's what I heard, is eventually left for really something for education. Remaining 82 years is pretty much we don't use at all. Even in those 12 years, how many of us using fullest potential? One has to be sincere. Otherwise, it's very, very difficult. Like the Prahlad Maharaj explaining to his friends systematically what is Krishna consciousness, who is God, who am I, why we should do all those things explaining. Then he came to a conclusion. It's called, okay, now it's a take-home points. He concluded 7.7 canto, 7th canto and 7th chapter, 30 to 32 verse. I'll just read it. Guru Shishyasya Bhaktya Sarvalabdharpanena cha Sanghena Sadhu Bhaktanam Iswararadhena cha Shraddhaya Tat Katayam Sakritayna Guna Karmanam Tat Padam Bhujathyana Tat Linge Ksharat Nadivi Hari Sarveshu Bhuteshu Bhagavan Astai Swaraha Iti Bhutani Manasa Kama Istatay Sadhu Manyate. He says, if you do these 10 things, whatever I said, you remember. But if you do these 10 things, you will be saved, and you'll become a devotee. So what is this? First is performance of duties. As I said, pure devotees survive in the path of bhakti through preeti. the sadhakas, they survive on duty. He clearly says the duty, performance of duties, through which we can develop love for Krishna. Next is, then who will teach us what to do? I can have my own feelings, you have your own feelings, you can understanding, but no, who says that? Guru. He says Guru. Guru Susrushaya. How do we say? When we serve him. Guru Susrushaya, when you serve him and when you hear him, then he will give the instructions. That's what I received from my Guru, which is Narada Muni. He's talking to his friends. Accept the bonafide spiritual master and render service with faith and devotion. That's the key. With the faith and devotion. And whatever one in position, that should be offered to spiritual master. First, performing duty bound. Learn what is the duty from Guru. Serve with faith. And then an offer. You have to have Guru Dakshina. We can never take free from Brahmana or Guru. And they're not looking for money. Paying the price is following his instructions. Sincerely, seriously, without ulterior motives. That is the key. And now he says, all these things happen in the Sangha. Has to be Sanghena Sadhu Bhakthanam. This Vikulita consciousness happens to the association. In the association of saintly person, one develops the mood to worship the Lord. And by doing it, what do you develop? How do you develop? Hearing. Systematically explain. How many times we heard, but we don't pay attention to the technicalities. But if you pay attention, when I was reading this chapter, I felt so happy. Hearing the glories of the Lord in the association, not about that movie, this movie, association, talking about this and that. No. Hearing the glories of Lord and the devotee in the association. And then we're hearing that, what are we supposed to do? Then we glorify. Isn't that amazing? It's systematically connecting one by one. Not just hearing. Glorifying here means also sharing with others. If you love somebody, you talk about that person to other persons. That's called preaching. That's what he's doing. My Lord is so nice. My devotee friends are so nice. They have done this and that. You share, glorify the transcendental qualities of the Lord and as well as the devotees. Once we do that, what happens? You meditate. Glorify. Meditation is nothing but I can glorify with the tip of my tongue, but I'm not really meant it. He says, no, you have to meditate. That means you go deeper. So when you glorify, there should be some kind of a change in the heart or character or consciousness. That's called Purna. Like, that's where the fifth state of consciousness is fully blossoming. Otherwise, for the sake of glorifying others, we glorify if we're not really meant it, it doesn't last for long. So he clearly says, meditate on those qualities, pastimes, and the glories of Lord, especially on his feet. And then now, action, worship the deity. He says clearly worship the deity. And then, so far we did 8. 9th is the most important. By doing all those things, what is object? For doing from 1 till 8, remembering Krishna. That's in Prabhupada said. If you chant Hare Krishna, the purpose, if you do book distribution, food cooking, or leading kirtan, whatever you do, is a pleasing service. Anyabhilashta sunyam grana karna anamrita. That means, without anything, we just give a pleasure to Krishna, to remember him. When we do this, the 10th one, he says, we offer the respect to every living entity. When we do this, so we develop vertical relationship with Krishna. Soul and super soul relation becomes so strong, it revived the consciousness and reconnected. When that happens, then we understand, like me, there's so many souls around me. We also develop the horizontal relationship with all the souls around us. When we do that, then we respect. That's called Trinadapi Sunichena. Without expecting anything in return, Prahlad Maharaj talk about this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings in his teachings. We go and connect all this, then we understand his entire Bhagavatam is the essence, Bhagavad Gita essence, Chaitanya Charitamrita essence. How he started with the duty, and eventually led us to Preeti. When that happens, then our spiritual life is complete. Not only that, he exhibited that. I just wanted to quickly say, for example, so what is Guru means? Even in scriptures, you'll see sometimes we're bewildered. Guru means whatever he says, we do it. Yes. Whatever he doesn't say, we will not do it. So let's take a couple of examples. We don't want to be like a Karna and Parashurama. They are also Guru and disciples. The Karna is also disciple, but he has an objective how to get the weapons from Parashurama. He lied, saying that I'm a Brahmin, and then I wanted to learn. He taught him. Eventually, he got cursed. So that's not what we decide. Same thing, the Ekalavya and Dronacharya. He did not take permission, but he made his Pratima or his deity, and then through it, by hearing him from bushes, he came and practiced. In one sense, what is wrong in it? But in other sense, yes, there is wrong. Without the permission of Guru, officially established relationship, Guru, Shishya, we cannot get that knowledge. Even if we get it, without that, then the knowledge will be of no use to us. That's a bad example. What is a good example? Like Arjuna and Krishna. What is the other good example? Bhishma and Parashurama. The same Parashurama taught to Karna. He also taught to, he has 3 disciples in Mahabharata. Bhishma, what is his name? Sudama's father. My mind went blank. Somebody can help me. You know what I'm talking about? Parashurama has 3 disciples: Bhishma, Karna, and then what is Aswadhama's father name?
Dronacharya.
Dronacharya. Thank you. Thank you. That's what the mind was not coming to my mind. Sorry. So this we want to be like Bhishma and Parashurama. What did Bhishma do? He did not follow his guru. So now we're saying that we should be like Krishna Arjuna, who followed his guru. But here we have the good example, which is Bhishma. He did not follow his guru Parashurama. In fact, he fought with him because of Amba. I'm not giving the details. Because of Amba, he fought with him, but he did not deviate the principle. But we have to understand, how do we understand from Guru? It's not like when he comes in front of him, we have nice Goti and Tilak and talk, and eventually we do something else. No. Following the principles. Same thing with the Bali and Sukracharya. He did not follow his guru. That is a good example. So this is how we learn from scripture. So now by doing it, what will happen? I'll just read out quickly. One is able to cut down the influence of our enemies, which is lust, anger, greed, pride, illusion, and envy. And then when situated in the path of bhakti, and then of course we are able to render the service to Lord and attain the pure loving devotion service. By doing so, we get the controllers of senses. What is the purpose of Prahlad Maharaj explained his friends? Uncontrolled senses. He explained from their downfall. Now, same process, when you turn that back, you come to the platform of where we control the senses at the end. When we come to the Preeti stage, Bhava stage, then the entire senses will be controlled. All the sense and sense objects will help us. Then that will take us to Mukti, Jivan Mukti. Not only Mukti, Mukti means sometimes happens after death. While living, it's called Jivan Mukti. While living, you can experience the benefits. How? By looking at nature, you can think of it. Looking at the deity, you will see Krishna anyway. When you chant, you remember Krishna. But when you if you go walk, when the thunder comes, you can hear Hare Krishna. The air flows, you can hear Hare Krishna. How you can? That's what Prahlad Maharaj is amazing. We can see Prahlad Maharaj, how his father tried to kill him. Earth, water, fire, and ether. He threw them in the water. What did he see? Water? Krishna's energy. He threw him in a pit of snakes, poison. He saw them as Krishna's energy. He threw him in the fire, Krishna's energy. He tried to kill him in so many ways. See, now it's the same sense objects, which we are also seeing, which is taking us away from Krishna. But he is the person who is using the same sense objects, and the grass and settle, all these things. His father used to kill him. So now how his transformed consciousness, which is the Mukulita consciousness, you could able to connect to Krishna. You see Krishna everywhere, not just in the deities, not while chanting, not in the temple. That's very nice. That's how we start. But we develop the consciousness, try to see whichever way possible. Somehow or other, trying to connect to Krishna. That is the essence of that. Then there's the 10 benefits I already explained. And then now, the 12:19. I'll just conclude here. So we're talking about Prahlad Maharaj teaching to his guru. Most of the times we hear the pastimes of Nashimida, how we kill Hiranyakashipu, all those things. But if we go a step back, his teachings, his friends, is as good as summary of Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita. We pay attention. And then he talks about the nature, matter, and then who are we, what is the relationship. I'll just conclude saying that the 10 benefits again to one more time. Take home points, remember it, pay attention. Performance of duties to develop love for Krishna. And then accept a bona fide spiritual master with the faith. And then follows his instructions and offers something back, which is nothing but following his instructions, taking mercy. And how do we develop that? In association. And association, what we do? We hear about Lord. And then once we hear what we do, we glorify, we tell with others. And then by doing that, what happens? We develop, we meditate on it. That means gratitude. We meditate, grinding. How? Because so far we have horizontal relation, vertical relation with Krishna, and then now we also develop that horizontal relationship. And we start seeing everywhere. And then now, also worship the deity. At the same time, you also worship with the deity. The deity is non-different than Krishna. Holy name is non-different than Krishna. Vesar and Sadhuvantam. And then come to conclusion of, penultimate conclusion of is, ninth one is remember Krishna. When we remember Krishna and then talk about Krishna and respect all others and whoever it may be, whatever they may be, understanding they are also in the path. But I'm so fortunate that Krishna put me in a path of bhakti, which is a little faster than others, but we share it with others. So these are 10 points what Prahlad Maharaj taught to his friends. And we also talk about what is Guru, who is not Guru, what to follow. We gave an example. We talked about an example. We should follow Guru, Arjuna and Krishna, Bhishma and then Parshuram, and then Bali and then Shukracharya, not Eklavya and Dronacharya. So we talked about that. And then now the final conclusion is that that this 10-step process will take us back to Godhead, which is the goal of the life. Hare Krishna. Back to you, Ramesh Krishna. Ramesh Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you so much. Amazing class. I think you summed up all scriptures in that small class, I think. So it's very nice and so many very nice points. So I'm just seeing Rukmani Mataji, please go ahead.
Yes, thank you so much, Naveen Krishna Prabhu, for that very cogent and lucid class, expounding on all these points. So yes, I had not noticed before I mean, I had sort of considered that these were a list, but you explained that they're a sequence of these 10 things. So in that sequence, the meditation comes before the deity worship. And we know that, you know, if we're formally trained in deity worship, that we're actually supposed to start with meditation before we even do anything. But still, like in the I don't know, the sort of intuitive or just commonplace idea, it seems like meditating is some very difficult thing, and deity worship is, you know, especially if we're doing like home deity worship, it seems like it might be easier. And also you know, when we're meditating, for instance, on the lotus feet of the Lord, the deity is made out of, you know, various different materials, and one of those materials is the mind. So is that not a deity that we're worshiping in the mind? And isn't it a little bit harder to worship a deity in the mind than a deity that we see before us? So maybe you could
explain. Nice question, Mataji. I'll tell you a story. One time we have a discussion with Radhika Raman Prabhu. In his lecture, he was saying that in the Boise when he was a kid. They used to preach. There was one person used to come, and he used to come to the temple, and then started reading Bhagavad Gita. He's trying to become a vegetarian, and then he started chanting. So chanting means he's also meditating. He's doing services. Month passed, 2 months passed, 6 months passed. And all of a sudden, in 6 months, he says, Prabhuji, I have a question. Do you dress deity every day? I noticed that last time when I came, now that they have a different dress. You understand my point, right? So what happened? We are saying we are too far away to reality. Deity worship is considered the highest because we meditate, because I wanted to do it. I wanted to chant. I want to do this and that. But there is no realization yet. To see Krishna, understanding that, hey, he was wearing a red dress yesterday. Now he's wearing the blue dress today. Unless the consciousness developed, the person cannot recognize that.
I see.
Person cannot recognize. Even if we walk into the temple right now, we'll ask somebody to take a darshan. We'll give 5 minutes. Let them take a darshan and ask them to come and explain to me what kind of earrings he has it. What kind of a mukut? What kind of a bindi he has it? He'll have to scratch. You just saw it. So deity worship is not everybody can touch deities and then do the deity worship. That's reason Brahman initiation is much. There's a reason for it. Bhagavad and Bhagavatam when sequence is saying that there's a reason for it. Because the meditation, nowadays meditation, everybody can say it. I'm meditating, and that can be mental concoction also. Real meditation, what he's talking about is actually a seeing through the eyes of Krishna. When you see through the eyes of Krishna, you can see the reality as it is. So that's my understanding. That's one of the reasons when he says, the seventh is worshipping the deity. Not Devan people can chant, read, or cook, but they will not do deity. There's a reason behind it. Because Pancharatrika Vidhi, when the people come on the altar, there's a conscious concentration. I have no idea. I can talk about myself, and then a couple of pujaris can understand. When we go on the altar at 5:45 or 6 o'clock, till 8 o'clock, we have no idea. 2.5 hours, we don't see the time. We don't talk anything else. Face to face with the Radha Krishna or Jagannath Baldeswada Gaumita. It's no other thing. The time ceases. So single point of concentration. Because why? What dress? We put this tie. We put that one. We put this dress. We put arrange this and that. So much of observation. That's one of the reasons I'm very much attached to deity worship. I'm sure deities who did it, they can also say it. But I don't have that kind of concentration when I'm chanting. Sometimes it happens. But every time walk on the altar, when you're cooking, you may be talking this and that. But when it comes to deity worship, when I'm talking the really focused deity worship, time ceases. As if you're in Vaikuntha Golakapun, there is nobody else. Face to face Krishna and Radharani. So then when you come out, I'll tell you one more secret. When deity curtains open, then you stand and take the darshan and see who dressed it. Did I? No. I did not dress. Then you experience that is a guru on behalf of you did it, and Krishna empowered you. If I think I'm dressing, the next week I cannot come there. Even if I do, it's a matter of time. 20 years, 20, 30 years, 40 years, if I dress in this consciousness, I'm just an instrument. All I'm here on behalf of Guru and using an instrument. And that is deity worship. Not deity worship just in arati. Yeah, people can do move mudras and rudras and do all those things. I'm not talking about that. Saying Prahlad Maharaj is not talking about that like deity worship. Deity worship is single focus. How Krishna want me to dress today for her, Radharani. For Radharani, how you want me to dress for Krishna. And how devotees want to see them. And how Krishna want to manifest himself to devotees today. When that person devotee, after 6 months, he got a little notion. There is a dressing happens every day. He came to understanding there is a drastic changing happens after 6 months. Just imagine, and the path of bhakti. So personalism, we have a so impersonal. And I can also test. We can try one. I've tried. You can ask them, somebody to take a look at 5 minutes and ask them to explain what did they see in the deities. Without Krishna's mercy, we cannot even remember what kind of things he has. Sorry, it's a long question, but I'm trying to explain what my understanding. What does it mean when Prahlad Mahabhagavata was giving 10-step process? The deity worship comes at 7th. Yes, there's a reason for it.
Thank you. Beautiful answer. I'm glad I asked. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Is there any other questions or comments? Please feel free to unmute yourself. I see Prem Chandra Prabhu. What is that?
If no one asks what to say and ask something, either are fully confused or fully confused, I will ask Chandrabanu Prabhu, Ramji Prabhu, because they also does. We have a couple of seconds.
Yeah.
A couple of things to add to Rukmini Mata's based on their own experience, because they also does deities. Or whoever it may be. Like I know somebody does Prabhupada also, so they can explain a couple of their realization. What does mean worship? Seems to be they're not even listening.
I was also thinking that good Shravanam Kirtanam will lead to Smaranam, like in the verse Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, then Smaranam Pada Sevanam. So in the sequence, if you go, if you have good Shravan and Kirtan, it will lead to Smaranam also. If you are, Prabhupada says, from the Nam, the Roop will be revealed. If you do good chanting, Nam, Roop, Gun and Leela is all contained in the holy name. So if you chant nicely, like Rukmini, she never saw Krishna physically. She only heard about Krishna. But she became so attached to Krishna, she was always thinking of Krishna. So that also can, Shravanam Kirtanam can also lead to Smaranam. Do it nicely.
Thank you, Prem Chandra Prabhu. Because even Prahlad Maharaj teachings also, he said the same words to his father. The same thing. Savanam Kirtanam, Pada Sevanam, Atmanivedam. Another class can be, and that's in the sequence. Nice point. Thank you.
So, Prabhu, from my side, I had one question. So, from what I understood, is one thing leads to the other. Like, unless your chanting is focused and absorbed, probably you cannot get into deity worship, or that absorption will not come. Or is that something you are saying, or did I get that right?
I'm not saying, I'm just repeating what Prahlad Maharaj says. This is sequence, things happens. So as
Right.
how the consciousness develops, so it starts with the first, doing something first, eventually that leads to.
So one related question, Prabhu, like, I don't know, probably Prem Singh Prabhu also can weigh in, like, they say Yuga Dharma. In this Yuga, Kali Yuga, the Harinam is considered to be the Yuga Dharma, the holy name. Now, when this one, the deity worship is considered more of from the earlier Yuga, from Dwapara Yuga. So, am I like confusing something here? Like that deity worship, what we are talking about is something different, or is this like the basic deity worship for this Kali Yuga? Even that one we are talking about. Any little bit clarification on that, Prabhu?
Good point, Prabhu. So yeah, Harinam Sankirtan is a Yuga Dharma. So this is a deeper philosophy. So what does it mean, Harinam Sankirtan? Just chanting Hare Krishna like Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, that's correct. But there's much deeper than that. Like, in Bhakti explains Harinam Chintamani. And then, in Bhakti Rasamrita, entire the philosophy of what is chanting means. So when you do that, there are a few things happens automatically. When you eat, you are nourished, you are satisfied. Like that. So deity worship is automatic progression of this extension of the holy Sankirtan. It's not like a separable; they're interrelated. But to get there, the Harinam Sankirtan is the one means and ends. It's not like, I do A, then I go to B, and B go to C. No, when in this path, when you go to C, C has B and A, and that leads you to Z eventually. That's my understanding. So they're not a competition each other; they complement each other. Prem Singh, you want to add anything?
Yeah, Prabhupada says there are two paths, Pancharatriki Vidhi and Bhagavad Vidhi. So as train runs on two tracks, so Pancharatriki Vidhi is the deity worship, and Bhagavad Vidhi is the Shravan Kirtana and the preaching process. So both both are required. But comparatively, if we consider both, Bhagavad Vidhi is considered, Prabhupada says, more important than Pancharatrika Vidhi. But we have to do both. So that's how Prabhupada established both, I think, the temples and the preaching also of Krishna consciousness. Shravan Kirtan. Lord
Thank you,
Chaitanya,
Prabhu. Yeah, go ahead.
Lord Chaitanya was asked of the 9 processes, which is the most important. He said the most important, Tar Madhya Sarvasresh Nam Sankirtan,
Hmm.
Nirapradhe Loya, Aloile Pai Premadhan. So if we chant offenselessly, of all the 9 processes, the chanting of the holy name is the most important in this age. So it's also he said.
Thank you, Prabhu. I think Rukmini Mataji raised her hand. So please, Mataji.
Yeah, this was a different question, if you be so kind. So there is also there are several different characterizations of what is the difference between a Kanishta Adhikari and a Madhyam Adhikari. And one of them is that someone who is attached only to the deities and not to the devotees is a Kanishta Adhikari. And I think I see that in this progression here, but but maybe you can explain in terms of this progression how that that how there is some misalignment if someone is attached only to the deities and not to the devotees.
Yeah, that's a beautiful point. Thank you. So once two things. One is his holy name is Igadama, which is correct. But if you do it in the right frame of mind, then it reveals all other things, which is also deity worship. We understood. And now, in other case, we directly have devotees directly working the Krishna deity worship, and they don't have the clear understanding of rest of the things. So that happens. That means whoever that's the reason why the Shastra explains Kanishta Adhikari, but Kanishta, that means they only have a relationship with the deities. But that now they think they have a relationship. If they really have a relationship, they will not do that. When they think it's a reality, if really they have a relationship, that means they would have done upfront, chanting properly, hearing properly, reading properly, the base is strong. In that, the progressive happens, deity worship, they're seeing Krishna, not only deity everywhere. Otherwise, what happens? Prabhupada gave an example. Somebody's eating, he's hungry, still eating, it's not satisfied. I think there is a disease. There's a disease consciousness. That season, people has to grow from to Madhyamadhikari at least. It happens eventually. If you don't give up as a duty, as I said, eventually it comes to Preeti one day. So that's my understanding.
Yes, Srila Prabhupada says in the Nectar of Instruction that one is not supposed to remain a Kanishta Adhikari, one is supposed to try to become Madhyam Adhikari.
It will happen. If you stick to the path, it will happen. Because no one is perfect. We do. I'm talking myself. So many mistakes I've done. I'm still doing it. I may be doing it again. But if you don't leave the path and still continue, things will happen. That's what he's also giving. Don't worry, have faith. Keep going. Chaitanya Charan Prabhu says, two concepts: fall off and fall down. Even Brahma had fall down. We can fall down many times. We do so many mistakes, so many offenses. But somehow or other, Krishna is tireless. He's giving a chance after chance after chance. If you're taking the chance after chance and showing that, hey, I want to, at least I'm not getting better, but I want to get better. I want to try. I fall down, okay, no problem. But not fall off on the path of bhakti. That means not to give up. Stay on the path, even fall down, that's okay. In the totality of millions and billions of trillions of years of, then even one lifetime, do some mistakes, that's fine. Krishna understand that. We are not, that's reason we are fallible. He's infallible. Prahlad Maharaj uses two things, infallible and then tireless. These are the two qualities he explained. We are fallible, he is infallible. He is tireless, we are tired. 2 times somebody shouts at me, then a 3rd time I'll get angry. Then I will not talk to the person. That is me. That's when I say me, that's how we are conditioned. But by doing it, then when one can put in the shoes of Prahlad Maharaj one day. Back to you, Ramesh.
Yeah, I think, thank you, Prabhu. One last question, if you don't mind, Prabhu. I just wanted to clarify. You are mentioning about the Guru Shishya, the different, the Bhishma and the Parashuram and all that. So, Prabhu, from my understanding, generally, this thing, the Guru and Shishya will be where you have to listen completely to Guru. And these are like little bit of exceptional cases, it giving you guidance how we have to behave in this. But in most of the cases, it's going to be just follow the instructions of the Guru instead of trying to make up your own instructions and all those interpreting what the Guru has said and all those kind of thing. Just follow the Guru's instruction, because that's our first step. Is that a kind of correct understanding, or?
It's a partial understanding.
Mhm.
You're following Guru, accepting instruction, provided if he or she talking from Shastra. I'm following Guru because he's saying instruction from Shastra. If the Guru is saying instructions not from Shastra, that's where he reject.
Correct. But
Not
most
blindly.
of, yeah, most of the gurus, like when we talk about the ISKCON Guru Parampara and all those things, most of the times, if the gurus are following the sadhu and shastra, they're following that, right? So that's what I was saying. There will be exceptional cases, so you should be intelligent enough to understand those exceptional cases. Otherwise, it's not a rule that all the gurus don't follow or anything like that, right? Gurus definitely follow whatever is there in the scriptures. So
the individual case, as I said, Prabhupada says in one of the purports, surrender to Krishna with your intelligence, but don't surrender your intelligence. That means you have to use our intelligence. There's a reason why Krishna gives intelligence, to exercise that. That's the reason Guru, Sadhu, Shastra. So we follow Guru because he's following Shastra. Dharmam to Sakshat Bhagavat Pranitam. Shastra is coming from Krishna. And if he follows Sadhu and Shastra, then that's the reason we accept. If this one of the case in the he rejected his Guru. So far he was following. But when he rejected because he's telling him to surrender to Vishnu, not to surrender to Vishnu. He said he's rejected.
Correct. And ultimately, if you see the other way also, Krishna is the one who sends you the Guru also.
If you're sincere,
yes. He's the one who sent it the Guru. So that's it. Thank you, Prabhu. I think we have just gone a little bit over time, but it's good. And I hope there are no further questions. I don't see any other raised hands. So so thank you once again, Naveen Krishna Prabhu. Thanks for your time. And I know it's like a long 1.5 hours for you. Like you didn't get a break, so you should just definitely take some small break. So from the local announcements perspective, and I just had a couple of quick announcements. One was thank you everybody for last Tuesday. We had a grand celebration of Narsimha Chaturdasi, and though I'll not take names, but there are a lot of people who contributed. Otherwise, we could not have had such a successful festival, and hope all of you found it were able to remember Lord Narasimha. And the second announcement was also the yesterday there was a quick 24 hours, a little less than 24 hours stopover by His Holiness Mahavishnu Maharaj, and he came here on Friday afternoon, and it was an amazing program. Like we were able to do Harinam after a long time, and we did it on High Street, and really the weather cooperated for those 3 hours. That's very, very surprising. Like 6 to 9, there was not even a single drop of rain. At 9 o'clock again, the rain started. So that's all. Like it is very good, and really thankful to all the devotees who made his Maharaj visit a grand success. And even the Srimad Bhagavatam class on Saturday was really nice, and a lot of people attended, and on Zoom and all those things. So absolutely, and Maharaj was very happy with his visit, So, and he said he will try to definitely come back once the pandemic is all lifted, and also when he has time, he will definitely come back. So these are the two announcements I had, and the coming festivals next week. We have Ekadasi next Sunday. So if anybody is interested in the evening Kirtan, please definitely get in touch with me. And any other Prabhus have any announcement or anything which they want to share? So
I want to thank Ramesh Prabhu for coordinating Maharaj visit yesterday. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. No, Prabhu. Thank you for all the help. And with this, we will pause this Sunday feast. And so, Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha, Kripa Sandubhyayevacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo Namo. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrindaki. Jai.